everybody. I'm starting the stream just slightly early here. Hypothetically, a game should launch any moment, but could wait longer than I want to. But we're just waiting for a third player or a fourth player to stroll on in. Although, probably by the time I put out stream announcements, people will randomly join, but that's okay. But yeah, hopefully we'll get a game pretty shortly. I would like to start soonish and end at a reasonable time. Maybe actually keep my playing time to like 20 minutes while on stream, but we'll see. I've still been playing a few random games here and there, and I generally have been playing pretty quick on base map. My instincts are fine. And by pretty quick, I should be clear. Some of, there are speed demons out there. I'm just talking. I can play about 15 minutes. That's a good time for my personal thinking, but we'll see. Depends on how tricky of a position and stuff we get into. Otherwise, I've been playing a bit of Agricola. Obviously, streamed one the other day. Probably will stream some again this weekend. I've just been having fun, obviously, lately with streaming some stuff again and playing a little more. So I'll probably do that, but the base set of Agricola is already annoying me a little much, and the player base is tricky. Like, if it's all beginners and I'm the only expert, then it's kind of like, okay, it's fine. I just win it, and it's whatever. But when it's those like kind of two experts versus two terrible players, it's really annoying watching just all the nonsense happen and the other guy just wins sometimes. But that's how it goes. The player base will eventually get there, so whatever. But yeah, also trying to work on a little strategy content. I haven't really spent a lot of time because I did some other stuff yesterday and today, but it sounds like me, Lumen, and Chris Ho have been at least talking up enough things that we'll get some stuff out soon. Hey, we're playing Block again. I feel like I've been seeing Block a decent bit in Arena, but that's probably because he does just play a lot of games. Costin is quite good. He's usually hovering around expert rating, and that's where he is. He's played a lot. I don't know this player at all. They've played quite a bit, and they're not good. And just reminded myself, Block is he just plays a lot and is fine. Looking at the game, we got digs into big building, trading post, dwelling, big building. That's a alright track. Building all your trading posts in the mid game is definitely doable and is a decent time for it. Round 5 dwellings is pretty good. The early and late rounds can be a little tricky for some factions, especially without the big building pastel in. It's a bit of a bummer. No spade, no 6 coins. Those are some of the kind of 3 best early game and just kind of generically good economic boosts. So it'll be a little harder to get stuff done this game. Looks like disgustingly good Darklings track. Yeah, the Darklings will be quite good here. And to be honest, I kind of just want to throw them in, but I guess everybody would bid on them. We get cultists first. I think witches can be okay with lots of mid-game trading posts, but I kind of always think witches are okay, even on this map. Our swarmlings okay here? They're all right, but they're underwhelming. Nothing thrills me here. Alchemists? I don't want to put in alchemists. I think alchemists are okay here, I guess. You try to go temple, stronghold, bunch of dwellings, a couple of trading posts in 4, but it's not good. Temple giants. That's spicy. It's probably just wrong also. I also said I was going to try to play this game a little faster, and here we are. One thing I didn't list is just the generic boring engineers, but we're on base map, right? Why not just some engineer action? Let's go with it. Temple swarmlings. Ugh. Is stronghold temple plus 3 dwellings good for alchemist after round 2? That's probably what I'd be angling for. Yeah, I think that's what I would angle for, and I don't think it's great, but I think it's pretty good. I think it, if you could actually achieve that, I think it's all right. but it's a little tough because the mid-game trading post rounds aren't very good for alchemists, and then round 5 dwellings is a bit late, so like I just don't think it's like, I don't think it would be a great alchemist game. But I mean, as always, the argument is auction. You just bid the other factions down and eventually play alchemists. But darklings get thrown in anyhow, so we have kind of classic factions. Darklings will be quite good. If it actually goes cultists, darklings, engineers, and there's a leech party here, engineers with a lot of early leech, assuming they get double dig, could be pretty dirty here. Because engineers could hit all. Honestly, engineers hitting trading post, dwelling is pretty ideal for them. The pass tiles are pretty good for engineers too. They just want to ship dwell. Like, they don't really care about big buildings. So currently, all 3 of these factions look pretty good here. Cultists can also do quite a bit. The tough, actually, cultists in first seat here have just a few problems. Because the darklings are, like, dig-wise, cultists aren't going to be amazing. I don't love cultists here, actually, probably. But we'll see what else. Round 2 bridge engineers go. I mean, that would be fun and hilarious. But we get chaos as the last faction. That makes engineers a bit worse, but it's usually not awful. It often means chaos is here, engineers are here, cultists are here. There's a lot of leech right through this. As long as engineers just get this stretch of hexes, the expansion is still pretty good for them. This track looks too just generically good for darklings, and there's not a lot of early spades. I think I just want darklings are best here. I think engineers are still better than cultists, probably. Chaos, I don't even know what they start with. I guess worker power. I don't know what I do with chaos here. So I think there's actually just a lot of bidding time because I don't like anything about chaos. I guess chaos could start here with tempship and you open temple 2 dwellings, but you might not even have a neighbor here. Engineers, I'm not sure engineers get to start with worker power. But if they don't get to start with worker power, there's a slight, I guess there is a slight risk that they don't get double dig. In which case my evaluation of engineers is a decent bit worse here as well. Because if worker power and priest go off the table as the first picks, which they could, engineers just takes tempship just so they get double dig. See, I hate that. So I personally probably just take 4 coins and a cult step, but it's underwhelming. Darklings should want worker power. Yeah, I mean, worker power is never gonna make it to engineers the more I'm looking at this because all these tiles suck. But as long as darklings take worker power, engineers should just get enough natural leech to take double dig, probably. If engineers don't get double dig, they just open Earth 1, Earth 2 with probably single dig, and that's still pretty good. Anyone else getting randomly hit as engineers? I mean, can I talking about randomly getting hit? I'm still salty as hell, everybody, just for the record, but. Yeah, I think Ghost is talking about like getting targeted. What happened? Oh god. CS last night's game to me is like I was playing witches and everybody at the table, I think, in my opinion, made questionable decisions and they all wound up kind of targeting my hexes and playing pretty anti-me. And I understandably took 4th. And I'm very salty about it. It was the big F2O final tournament game. Well, not final, but anyhow, engineers can't possibly be that bad here. I probably already bid darklings too much, to be honest. Block is very greedy, town-oriented. Yes, he is. I mean, Kassan instantly bids a bunch too. I mean, I don't want Chaos here by much, so we'll see. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, Kassan is annoyingly bidding correctly. Probably go back to Darklings in a sec, though. It still does seem very good for them. There's a chance that engineers do very well, but I'm a little happier with some safety in this one because there is enough ugly things here. You haven't watched F2O from last night? Oh, I'm at the end of this VOD, maybe I'll talk about it. Depends on how many people here want to really relive that a little bit and discuss it. I have so many thoughts about that game, but a lot of them are not. I've been trying not to say them in public because if I don't have nice things to say about people, I'm not supposed to say them. But, oh, look, yeah, whatever. I'm still very salty. At least I don't have to qualify. I mean, honestly, I don't think I'm going to play again, to be honest. I think I'm done with F2O. Like, I know that sounds pretty dramatic, but if I'm just going to get targeted out of games, which I think is what largely happens, I have many thoughts, but I don't think I like the format at all anymore either. Like, I can't stand winner not winning. I don't think Klebo should be allowed to play against me and not against engineers in that game. I mean, whatever. It could be he's partly just not evaluating the positions correctly, but it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous is all I have to continue to say. I'll win one day. I'm not gonna win one day. That's my fervent belief. The best players will never win F2O as long as all of the players are too worried about blocking the perceived leader. There's too many strong players in that tournament, but like we've watched it in multiple seasons now between Chris Ho and Nerdcube and just others. The perceived strongest player gets subtly played against or outright targeted, and then other players are allowed to sneak on through. And they're good players. They make largely good decisions, but last night in particular, I can't stand it. If I was grading that game, I think I played the best. I rewatched it this morning. There is one move I would like back pretty badly. There's one thing I did wrong, but aside from that, I think I made a lot of very good decisions, and I think I made a lot of good reads about what should have happened. I think Chickens left so many points on the table and was so risky. I think Babbitt made some bad errors in round 3, and I think Klebo absolutely threw away all of his winning chances. But whatever. Blah, 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 blah. Some of what you said is why I'm done with seasons. Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, it's an Agricola thing. Which move do I want back? Passing right away. I want back the insta pass in round 5. I should build the dwelling before passing. I am absolutely correct that the only way I have any chance in hell in that game is I have to get the trading post house. So I have to pass first. And I was worried that Kleba would pass and take a coins action, but there's no way that Clay can afford to do that. He just can't. So that was wrong, but could I have taken the coins in 5? Nah, the bridge was correct. The bridge was absolutely correct. I should have built the dwelling. The dwelling comes with 2 points, and it comes with a worker back. That worker winds up actually being a resource point. So I left 3 points on the table. Even worse than that, it turns out that the extra resources potentially would have let me take a priest in the final round, which is going to it'll force engineers to send their priests against Darklings instead of against me. So I might even protect another 2 cult points if I have more resources. So it might have been a 5-point error to not put that dwelling down. And it was bad because I misread the fact that there was no way that anybody else could afford to pass. They all needed to expand their economies more, build a few more dwellings in that round. I just misread that Klebo might pass. I was too paranoid about that. I should pay a little attention to this game. I think taking a priest is still good here. Chaos has a priest. was gonna say I could send the first. I'm tempted to just go Earth 2 here and skip the whole Earth 1 thing. That's classic me. I mean, maybe this is a game once in my life where I'm supposed to just take Earth 1 and not get too fancy here. I can just take Fire 1 next round. You think just take Fire 1 on the Sanctuary is correct and just take Earth 1 here? I like Earth 2 as well because of mid-game trading posts. I agree, Deranged. I guess I could just go Earth 2, Fire 1 into Water 1, Temple. Priest to Fire for 3, yeah. All right, team. Let's go for the Earth 2. Let's go for the Earth 2 Fire 1 line. Let's go big Econ Darklings because it's just more fun, even if Earth 1's correct here. And then this Priest, if Chaos Magicians presumably takes Earth 1, just goes to the Earth track. Or it could just be another dig early, which actually I'm not opposed to. Another early dig here is reasonable too. I'm going to take the Priest. I think it's worth it. The Bucks game went well, yes. Analyzing another game from yesterday, yeah, I mean, that game's going to stick in my mind for a little while. But this looks like a setup where Darklings are unlikely to connect. Yeah, I agree. Darklings are unlikely to connect, so it implies that I should just take Earth 1. But look, I don't want to be a chump. Hey, actually, Chaos Magicians is still left Earth 1 here. You think I gotta persevere with F2O? It's way too swingy. Yeah, the problem is it is too swingy, and I care too much, but it's just not worth it. Repeatedly, all I watch in those games is. Overall, in my opinion, F2O rarely sees the best player advance. All too often, there are people that make silly errors that don't get punished correctly because, for some reason, in those tournaments, wow. Cultist is slowing down Engineers. That's wild. Takes the double dig, too, that Engineers didn't. I forgot that Engineers willingly passed double dig here. Wow, all sorts of crazy stuff that I've been missing while blabbing on about other stuff. You think it's possible to connect if I take Fire 1 through C4? I agree that I don't think connection's entirely dead, right? So I don't think I should absolutely for sure give up on it. The F2O format set up to encourage entertainment. Anyone could win over. Well, correct. The F2O format's always about that, but it's even worse than that. Because even in single game samples, if we had if we could anonymize the accounts and just have people play what they actually think is best, I'm pretty sure what happens last night goes pretty differently, to be honest. And maybe I'm just wrong, but anyhow, team, I keep blabbing about stuff. So I'm partly tempted to go Earth 1, but maybe that's wrong. See, one of the crazy options I have here is if I get a little more power, I get these workers. Now, if I get these workers, I can open Temple 4 dwellings here. It's gonna make me really coin tight. In which case I would probably just take Fire 1, although Earth 2 is still okay. Yep, Lumen, I completely agree that targeting is actually why we don't see back-to-back winners very much anymore. It loops back to some of... anyhow, sorry. I think I'm going to pass... I don't think there's any way I take Earth 1 here. It's just not my style. I'm going to go Econ this game. It's just what I want to do. So I'm going to try to get extra leech out of Engineers. I think Engineers best play... Oh, Engineers might take the workers at this point. Oh, well, that's fine. I have other options here still. Earth 1 comes with a coin. I agree. I don't care. But anyhow, I think it loops back to NerdCube's points in his thread. I think we're all really bad about evaluating what position people are in. I think we all think we're way better than we are about saying who's actually in the lead. Yesterday, just watching that VOD, in my personal opinion, it was clear that if engineers didn't get messed with and were just going to be allowed to connect, they had a solid game, even though they didn't have much early leech. That just isn't going to hurt them that bad. And it's clear to me a couple other things. It was clear to me I wasn't in that strong of a position. I had tons of points after round 3, but I played a very points-heavy game, and I scored a lot of stuff early. And I didn't have that much potential without Earth 1. Some of the scoring rounds are coming up. I had a lot of issues. And then on top of that, people felt they had to take all my hexes. So, engineers take coins here. So engineers can annoyingly not give me leech. So I might get... The only way I might get workers here is if I go Earth 2, and then I could use all my power and build 2 more dwellings, and then coins could get pretty tight into the next round, although all the coins might allow me to get the sanctuary for Fire 1 up, and I would have a pretty absurd economy, and I'd be very close to just taking an early coin town. I mean, at this point, I'm just going Earth 2 anyhow, because I don't see what else I'm doing. So let's see how wild I get here. It's not just the targeting. The whole 2 players eliminated every game kind of encourages that crap. Yeah, there's some issues with the whole F2O format, but whatever. Has anyone ever casted a game or watched anyone else cast a game? You should be aware that expert computing is approximately 0% accurate in understanding who's in the lead. I think they're a bit accurate, but I mean, everybody's way too confident is what we've learned. And so, anyhow, my point is largely... Whatever, my point's multiple. I have so many complaints about last game. At the end of this stream, if any of you really want, I'm very willing to go into a 15-minute tirade about exactly all my thoughts about that game. In fact, I would even step through it with everybody. But there are multiple moments that I think are just flat-out mistakes from many of the players at the table. I think the fact that Chickens won is an absolute travesty, is what I'll say. And I know that that's not politically correct, but it's absurd that that guy is advanced. Like... He made a lot of fine moves, but the fact that he made moves that could have let himself just get totally stomped and he didn't. And even on top of that, there's other moves I don't think are correct. And it's so frustrating, but whatever. Engineers are upgrading away from me. Bummer. I also didn't get the workers. I didn't get the coins here. So all of my greed in various ways has not paid off. I can dig for points. I could turn this priest into 2 coins. I could just send the first priest to fire here, which is probably what I should do. Although it's a lot of workers. Which means I really need to get a coins action. But I suppose now that my power is mostly just for a coins action, I should be okay. Chaos are clearly just going sanctuary. Engineers are going to pass, presumably, which is actually maybe an issue, although... I don't really care between 4 coins or 3 coins here. Cultists could open with a coins action on the ship tile. Although cultists have a lot of coins, they probably don't take more. So I think Priest of Fire is fine here. I guess I have a few coins coming in too, actually, so I should be okay. Tirade, you cheer for Tirade? Fine. At the end of this, I'm going to do something. You turned it off and stopped listening to whatever Bizzle. Yeah, I don't... To be honest, Bizzle at casting sometimes drives me a bit insane too, but... there is a lot of room for king making in general, so I agree. Priest of Fire, pass 4 coins, easy sanctuary. I could send Priest Earth instead. Earth 2 plus Fireworkers is easy compensation for missing the 3rd dwelling, yeah. Do you think people are really bad at knowing who's in the lead and really bad at understanding how blocking affects that? Something that seems like a small, insignificant block might never... Completely agreed, Nerdcube. All sorts of that, agreed. To be completely honest... Wow, engineers actually use their power to just get Earth 2 here. I guess I should have seen that. That's actually very reasonable. Now the question is, do I get greedy and assume I get a coins action? Because if I get a coins action, I get to go sanctuary... Oh, I just get to go sanctuary because I can't possibly build these dwellings. So this is 2 points, or I can get an extra coin and a cult step. Let's assume cultists are going to feed us a ton of leech, and maybe we get some workers as well next round, and in which case the dwelling tile will be better. I don't know. I got Earth 2? Yeah, I have Earth 2. The cult step's a worker, so cult coins are better. Cult step is 2 power. Cult step is 2 power. It's not going to be a worker. I'm taking fire 1. There's no Earth 1. There's no water 1 here. This is full out fire 1 because we're building a temple in round 3. We're getting lots of priest production this game. Yeah, fire 1 is happening, and then the temple for water 1. Yeah, we're taking fire 1. Sorry, we're taking fire 1, and then we're templing for water 1 in round 3. Double econ darklings. Yeah, I will need to connect for this game plan to pay off. But the ship scoring tile is in as well, so we're not going triple econ CS. No. You remain deeply skeptical of our connection. That's fair. You're allowed to be skeptical. I mean, one option I have is I could, well, depending on what happens this round, I could steal this, which also makes my connection through the south much more possible, but we'll see. If we don't have connection, we have 3 towns. I mean, I want connection and 3 towns. I mean, the dream is, right, the 3rd town just somewhere in the north plus connection, but we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of potential things that could go wrong. This whole plan of double econ is maybe dubious, but it's what I prefer to play. It's more fun. Also, to be honest, like looping a little back to the whole targeting and just ensuring good games, part of the time is you don't get targeted when you're already like in an insurmountable position or just have too much of a lead. And so one way to hopefully achieve those things or like get to some of that point is to just have really big econs. So anyhow, I'm going to take the coins here, especially with Earth 2. I have to take coin actions. It's very important. I have so many workers coming in, actually. It's totally fine. Cultists were supposed to go 2 temples this game, in your opinion? Probably. Cultists blocking dig might suggest they go south. Cultists were supposed to blah, 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 blah. Ghostly said something, and... oh, cultists blocking dig might say... yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, this northern connection route might happen. It really depends a lot on what Chaos does. Chaos is at 2 shipping here, though, so Chaos is going to try to get here and here, which is going to create instant problems for me, potentially, so who knows. Cultist going Sanctuary feels super wrong. I'm assuming it's an early water 1. Chaos went... instead of air 2, they went water 2. On up, cultist is also going to econ here. Okay. I don't have a lot to do either beyond fire 1 here. But we are seeing where cult coins might have been correct here, just because of the fact that, yeah, I'm real close to these 2 extra dwellings this round, but I just can't quite get them down, but it's okay. Taking lots of coins actions is good still anyhow. Yeah, round 2 Sanctuary for Cultist was wrong, but Cultist didn't have a second priest. Yeah, Cultist taking coins there and getting to 2 shipping seemed much better than what they did. Lucky for me that I didn't. I mean, it is lucky, although I also probably just, if I don't take coins this round, I just build a Sanctuary and I pass first and I take coins next round, right? I don't know if, like, I don't need the coins this round, so I actually don't know if that's much of a break here or not. It's lucky that they... ah, yes, that's fair. The fact that cultists won't have temple on the north. Although, the problem is if I'm building a temple next round, am I going to have temple on the north? You know. But yeah. Oh, block is passing already, though. That's annoying. I thought I was going to get to pass for the 5 coins here. Oh, wow, he doesn't take the 5 coins, though. Okay. Well, sure. Um, I really do just need coins the rest of the game, so 5 coins in a cult step feels like it has to be correct here. I don't have anything better to be doing right at the moment. Is it pronounced block or blotch? I pronounce it block, but I have no idea. Next round is 2 dwellings, temple, trading post, town. I'm actually not sure about the town. It could be a town, but I'm also tempted to just throw the temple here. Gives block a lot of leech, I guess. Maybe it's better to just give engineers single leeches. I want to race water 1 here just because I'm paranoid about players here. I don't really see how Chaos Magicians could possibly justify it, but my experience is that bad players do prioritize scoring favors. So I missed that Chaos didn't get single dig. Mostly because I'm not really paying attention to this game. I'm just taking actions and assuming it all works out. But if we get a ship town next round, we could advance ship, hit ship VP, beat Chaos North round 4. That temple would also not be part of a town. CM you think's gonna hit D3, B4. Oh, never mind. Chaos is north. Well, Chaos only has 1 shipping, though. This is a temp ship, so that's important to remember. If Chaos can't get this hex this round, I'm not sure this player is going to instantly start advancing ship right after. Do we accept a 4 for 3 in round 2? Hell yeah, we do. This looks like engineers... Well, I guess that's just more economy for him, but passing up points is a little interesting. I guess he's also setting up for a fast town, potentially. But that's okay. Take it every time? Yeah, I agree. It's just another coins action if block doesn't open coins. There might be a world with round 3 ship town. We hit B4 in round 4 before chaos. B4. I mean, so the thing is, I don't actually know how much I care about. Like, the thing is, this hex and this hex are totally fine too here, right? Like, I don't totally need B4. I need this, 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 and then like this. Like, I think I'm connecting this game. I mean, engineers could worry about this, but I think engineers have bigger worries about like this hex, right? I mean, engineers really want this. They want this. Like, that's how they expand. This is meaningless to them. So I think I'm okay. B4 is nice for the town. Yes, I agree that B4 is nice for the town, but we'll see. You thinking we delay water 1 to round 4? I mean, I could just ship next round, but that's not how I play. I'm obviously going to connect through C3, D5, H6. I guess I should turn hex names on, but if we're going to say this many things, C3, D5, H6. Okay, you're making up stuff. But also, that's true. These hexes are options too. I think there's just too many ways I connect through the north that I'm honestly going to be fine. Now, should I just ship next round? Maybe, but that's not how I play. So you would delay water 1. I'm not delaying water 1. I want more priest production. That's part of how I win. That's part of how you make double econ darklings win. You gotta connect, but look, I'm gonna push off the connection. I also don't really think I can push off water 1. Again, as much as Chaos Magician shouldn't take it, I don't know. I don't trust a thing. Chaos does go onto the ship tile, so it does suggest they're actually gonna ship again. Cultists, single dig. Hey, team, we get another coins action. Thanks to engineers for gifting this to us. We appreciate their help to Darkling's domination. You want me to turn on income displays? Oh boy. See what happens with connection later. Do with this track, just produce priests, dig, make TPs, see what happens, blah blah blah. Yeah. Anyhow. Step 1 of economy has been achieved. The next question is, do we feed engineers or do we feed cultists? To be honest, I don't like either of their games all that much. But I guess cultists have spent an early sanctuary that I think was really bad, and they've triple dug, so they're worse. The problem is the more I feed them, the greater chance there is that they beat me to the north. Although an alternative option, I guess, is maybe I don't really need to rush Water 1 here because nobody's... Well, no. See, I'm just unwilling to trust Chaos. What has Chaos done? He took a priest. So Chaos might just be going for 3 ship, which doesn't actually suggest a hell of a lot about what they're up to. Worry about it later. You like dwelling, ship town, TP dwelling now. Win the race to B3 and get some major economy out. B3. See, I agree, I think, about with all these coins. I think I agree with shipping. I'm still not sure I agree with skipping Water 1 yet. But I am very tempted to ship twice and get here just to make sure I beat cultists up that way. But I'm also like slightly paranoid like Weber is about just getting the trading post up. I still kind of prefer trading post over here just because all these dwellings make a town, and I dislike overbuilding towns just to help give easier chances at 3-towning. But there is a chance this is never part of anything, and giving block a bunch of leech here is troublesome. So probably just do a ship advance first. I think I do 1 ship advance here. I'm always doing at least 1. I mean, I guess the problem is if I want to dig these hexes. Yeah, this is slightly troublesome. Maybe Nerdcube's line is right. I feed engineers a lot of leech. I don't feel good about anything. I really like getting 3 priest production. I really like that, but it might be wrong here. But with Earth 2 in hand, it just partly feels right to build up to me rather than build tons of dwellings. But I think this is correct. I think giving cultist a lot of leech is really the big issue. I'll accept a 5 for 4. It's still early enough, but it's a little wild. Connection is dangerous. Connection is more contested than Water 1. I think that's true. You're more scared of engineers? Yeah, I agree with that. Wow, thanks much, Crix. 7 months, that's insane, actually. I would not have necessarily guessed I've been streaming for 7 months already. Block is presumably going to Keytown here. Yep, he does. It's totally fine. I accept. I just don't. If Block wants to take all the cult points out of this game, it just doesn't scare me. Giving engineers all this power is just what's happening. I think I accept the fact that Chaos just, is not... I don't know what they're doing, but it just can't. I just don't think Chaos possibly is actually taking a copy of Water 1 here. And also Block just doesn't look to be likely taking a copy of Water 1. It looks like Block is going to just build one more trading post, is my guess. But we'll see. So I think Nerdkeep's line is correct, but you would go Temple and ship north. I think that's fine, but I think Nerdkeep's line is best, which is what I'm angling for now. It is great on the whole economy front too. And then I think I can just water 1 next round and build 1 or 2 trading posts, lock up some connection areas. It should be fine. Might have it been worth it to take the blue in the east, an extra priest for my town. No, it's not. I can't afford the priest. Yeah, I agree with all of you. I think my original line of just rushing Water 1, shipping twice, and building these dwellings is actually totally fine. Maybe it's, honestly, that line still is in some ways totally cool too, because, well, I don't know if Chaos is going to be here or not, right? I think the triple dig on this is potentially open at the start of next round then, but who knows? Engineers just take a coin town. I think it was pretty predictable, and that's fine. We're just running big econ darklings and hoping it comes out ahead. I mean, I like the fact that even after my opponents have taken towns, they're not like that far ahead of me. I mean, I'm behind and I don't have Earth 1, but I have very different economies from them. We'll go with that. Block seems a lot of points ahead. I mean, yeah, so we should worry about it. I'll keep accepting Leech, right? I mean, it's early. These resources snowball. I am spending a lot of points on Leech here, but... All right, I've joined the club of making a town, and I am behind, but meh. Engineers advanced ship, it's fine. Chaos, I don't even know what they've been up to all this round. I honestly have no clue. How has Chaos been in this round this long? It appears to have done nothing. He has water too. Okay, so Chaos has gone there. I mean, Chaos has to advance ship, and then they might just be relying on cult digs. I'm not sure. Chaos sends a priest to air. So Chaos might be just going for 2 cult digs and not ship advance. I don't know. Whatever. Blah, 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 blah. Double econ, ultra leech darklings. Victory points are for chumps. Is there a channel credit reward? Oh, God. I'm sorry that I have sound effects on. That's for when I'm... Yeah, sorry. You should have told me that sooner. I only have them on just because when I play games during some work hours, sometimes I get distracted looking at other stuff and I need them to remind myself it's my turn. Now's a good time to do the ship advance. Another advantage of this line is that it gives me some dwellings out so I can build TPs. Yeah, I agree. The slight issue is how many TPs are going to go in the areas I want them to. I don't totally know, but yeah, I mean things are pretty dang good here. You think sound effects are great? That's fair. You play with sound effects and don't mind them. Sometimes you get distracted. Yeah. Look, the sound effects are fine, but on a stream, I agree. They're a little funky. We don't really need them. So is this a potential 4-town game? Probably not Nerdcube, right? So the problem is this is already overbuilt for a 4-town game, so I have to get 16 network for 4 towns. So 16 network is a lot still, but maybe. I think I actually, now that I think about it, I think my temple goes up here though, right? This town spot looks pretty fine regardless, rather than try to build this one that doesn't have neighbors. This one will be better off, right? Oh, actually, but I fed chaos. I did feed chaos a neighbor here. So cultists could take, I could get water 1 screwed still. If cultist and chaos goes for the water 1 ahead of me, I could still get killed on that front. But, meh. We'll see. $16 network where... Oh, the sanctuary town needs to be 3 hex. You're right. 4 towns like impossible. It would have to be 17. Yeah, it has to be 17 because of the sanctuary. I am building a TP. Nerdcube, you're probably right that I'm overestimating how bad it is to miss water 1. At the same time, running a game without Earth 1 and Water 1 is tricky. It's tricky to win those. I'm curious at what your point sources are for me. Like, I can make 2 towns and connect. I'm not totally sure what the points are. Like, I'm genuinely curious if you have a reply here of like, how do you think I score enough this game? Just on the track, just with the, I mean, I guess late Stronghold is almost certainly in the plans here still too. Stronghold is actually pretty decent points for me with my worker production, but getting on the TP tile and just building all my TPs followed by all my dwellings, you think that's just good enough? Hit the track really hard, still make 3 towns network. And again, I realized the late Stronghold is actually totally part of the scoring plan. I mean, I guess I get the ship tile or the trading post tile here though, so like, I think life's good, but I agree that I don't like scoring the TPs quite as much as Darklings. It's still good here though. The TP tile makes it definitely work, but I agree the priest production is part of why like the early temple and just more priest production is quite good. But I mean, there's always just air 1 then too, right? I mean, if I get the TP tile, I mean, the problem is if I get the TP tile now, I don't think there's any way I get the ship tile. The problem here is that cultists, because of what they're doing, and like even kind of engineers don't look super expansiony here to me, and the fact that these guys probably want to build their dwellings now in round 5, like these guys are gonna have way too fast rounds compared to me. It's the one slight downside of big econ. You don't pass first, like rarely. Eventually you can, but I have too much to build. CM never advanced ship, even though they're on the ship tile. So I don't know where their cult digs are going, but it's not here. So admittedly, I do get to just double dig this next round. So I potentially do just have towns through here. The thing is, double digging this next round is okay, but I guess it's what I have to do. Securing connections is too important. It's just my trading posts don't go into town locations is the other problem with the, like, so looping back to the Nerdcube theory of I just build all my trading posts next round, where do I build them? Like, to me, it looks like all my trading posts are going to wind up in awful spots. I don't have that many priest production. So, well, maybe I could take a priest power action next round and throw another dwelling here, and I could get a TP here. I'm not sure, though. I still feel like I have slight problems, but regardless, I just take the TP tile here. Or I could delay and just get the ship tile. The central dwelling could be a town. It could. Towns are overrated. I mean, towns are important of how I score here too. I really think I need 3. I want 3 towns. Maybe I'm planning too much. I'm kind of tempted to use this cult step and just dare. Like, if chaos passes onto the trading post tile, I don't really... I think 6 to 9 points is just better than trying to fight for the TP scoring here. So I think I do take this cult step. Not that it's going to score me a lot, but I guess I just move up fire. I might eventually take fire too. I mean, somebody else will close out fire on me, but I get another power back right away. I think I do this. The TP with the worker is better. I think taking the extra coin here is just fine. You're right that the extra worker could turn out to be important, but hey, I could get it anyhow, which is my other bet. The new fun question is, what order do I want to attempt these in? I do want to build a lot, you're right. So maybe you're right that the worker is more important than the power. I mean, I might be taking a worker's power action next round here, though. I also almost certainly could just advance ship again. Well, I don't have enough priests. Loops back to that problem. See, I think the ship tile is just more, but there's like no way I get on the trade. I'm never going to get either of these back. I have too much to do to get either of them back. Thoughts on just making a dwelling here? That's a spicy thought. I have so much coins, actually. Now that's an idea I'm actually pretty... that's some thinking. That seems wonderful, yeah. Absolutely make a dwelling. I can totally afford that. Now I might just go ship score, though, because the extra power, I think, is useful again. And I think I just prefer the guaranteed 6-point nature of this. I'm not sure this is totally correct, but... odds on block taking water 1. It's definitely possible, but I am looping back to, like, agreeing with NerdCube. Like, it's annoying, but it's not the end of the world. Wow, block is hurting like engineers again. Chaos Magician spades that. Makes sense. Oh, CM spades that. I forgot that CM would do this, though. Maybe this is never a town. CM's going to try to make this town. Ugh. Engineers double digs this, because engineers are trying to make their town. What a mess. What a mess. The upshot is CM literally... oh no, CM can reach this yellow, but CM doesn't look like... I think I can get greedy. Here comes block taking water 1. Overtaking a coins action. He's about to take water 1. Almost certainly. I hope it's air 1. Air 1 actually is defensible here. Water 1's pretty bad. But he's going to do it. Yep. Okay. Well then. You think block doesn't need coins? Okay, fair. Block doesn't need coins, but... he doesn't have any shipping yet. What are you, like? Whatever. I don't believe that. I refuse to believe the idea that he doesn't need coins, but he is forcing me to take the NerdCube line. Yeah. I think I can take coins here. Wow. I mean, I kind of don't need them either. Although I just made incredulous noises about the idea that people shouldn't need them. I also kind of need a priest. Yeah, I don't think I'm winning this game. You think we want this brown hex to fight town space? I kind of agree. I think town space is pretty important, actually. Yeah, Lumen, I kind of agree. Just taking the coins always seems correct, but I think I'm gonna pass them. I think I kind of agree. Maybe I'm too paranoid about point sources at this point, but I'm pretty worried about point sources. Without Earth 1, Water 1, the track is only so much. It's not infinite points. I did not make more priest production yet. I already scored one of my towns. Like, I think there's some big issues here. And I mean, maybe, again, that's why Block does it. Because Block, whatever, he does love, people love to deny. And it's just, again, this loops back, everybody. It's just not good. Play your own damn game. Like, score the most points you can for yourself. That's how you most consistently win Terra Mystica. Only if you're absolutely sure you have to be blocking somebody is it correct. But whatever. The coins don't wheel. That's expected. I honestly need priests, so I'm gonna take one. You feel the urge to ban a child? If I make mods, I could make some mods. You nominate George Shortwell? Look, I should make some mods for this channel. That's fair. But CM upped ship. You would have considered 5-power priest digging B4. Yeah, see, I'm just not that type of player. I still believe that I'm just connecting, and also that CM, yes, CM is just town focused. They're just that sort of player. I mean, should they be expansion focused? Yeah, probably. But I mean, I'm tempted to. Well, actually, this is still a town option, right? Or am I gonna run out of hexes? But I think I can do. Well, this can be a trading post. This can be trading post. I still have to take at least so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, so that's never a thing. This has to be the other town if it's going to happen. So the question is, how much will CM ever take this? I don't know the answer. Let's delay and see what they commit to. What I really want to do, everybody, because I want to greed out points, is I kind of want to dig this, make this a trading post, and advance ship. That's what I want to do. I also might just air 1 this round, because I also still want priest production, because that's just part of my instincts. I might not take this 4 for 3. As much as I've been accepting leech, this is starting to become dubious to me. You still see 3 towns? I think there's 3 towns too, but because I just don't think chaos is coming for this hex. Or chaos won't get to this hex in time, and I'll just or I can just triple dig this next round. And then these, I think, are still pretty safe. You have to go to bed, EJ? See you around. You want the VOD of the promised F2O tirade. Okay, I'll go on an F2O tirade at the end of this game. I'll do it. If you really want it. I'm gonna get greedy as shit and do this. God, it's really greedy. Maybe I go air 1. I'm just feeding chaos so much leech, but he's just shown no willingness to go after me. This is a tough one. This is one town. This can't be a town. This can't be a town. The only other town has to be through the connection area. So I guess I do this. I guess I have 1 priest that I can always turn this to yellow if I have to. Why build the brown instead of the blue? That's fair. I could have just built this blue and make this a trading post, and then wait to build these out and make this a stronghold town. I was starting to think I had to worry about where my Fire 2 was going to go. But you're probably correct. That might just be a mistake. You think Chaos takes the yellow hex if he passes before? See, King of Gods, we would say that, but Chaos is a terrible player and continues to not do the things he should be. I agree he should hard dig it this turn, but he's not going to. I'm playing against what he's going to do. I didn't accept other stuff, but I might accept 3 for 2 still. I think I will accept the 3 for 2 still. Maybe that's inconsistent, but we're mostly done making TPs, aren't we? Not really. I plan to make a trading post, but then make a temple, which will leave 2 trading posts on my board. And I'm playing like a huge network game, and I'm gonna need to build trading posts just to free up dwellings. So I don't really think I'm done. Although the trading post tile is just chilling there, so as much as I said I was gonna air 1, and air 1 is pretty good, just taking the guaranteed trading post tile and being able to just dig this first action, maybe that is correct. Well, there we go. I mean, Costin's going to be on that finally. Oh, remember when I said I was going to advance ship still this round, though? Remember that? Advancing ship a third time doesn't seem that easy. How did I just pronounce that? I don't know. I pronounced weird things. Advance ship, then make a TP? Yeah, I agree. I could just advance ship, make a TP, and skip the... skip the other stuff. I could also accept this to advance ship one more time, but that just seems wrong. I think I do make this, though. I think this is fine. Although I'm not gonna have the option to triple dig this if I'm not gonna be able to triple dig if I don't build the temple. I think doing the ship advance is greedy at the moment. I think the extra stuff is worth it, so I think I'm supposed to just air 1. This is an insane leech that CM presumably won't take. I think having air 1 points here is good. I think the priest production is good. It's like a lot. It's a good number of points. It's possible other stuff was better, but CM has 1 ship. They're on temp ship. Wow, CM is on temp ship. Wow, I did not realize that. Okay, so like he basically can't stop me anymore, actually, so that's good. I can pass for 5 coins at a cult step again, or I could just take another priest for points. But it looks like I still can just use more coins now that I did what I did, so we'll keep going econ here. I'm after all the play, like I'm between everybody else having a pass tile, and I have a good number of priests, so I should be able to stall this round out sufficiently to get onto somebody else's pass tile, especially with the cult step actually. So yeah. Yeah, CM has 1 ship and they're not coming. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, CM has just been focused on other things, so I think my first action might be just to take this blue. I mean, again, I think other players are like crazy. Well, does CM have a cult dig? Oh god, they do. Is CM gonna possibly try to turn this green? I guess even if they turn it green, I have enough priests now, I don't care, right? I'll just double dig this and like, I think my first play though is just to take this and make it super clear to CM that they are not like, there's no funny extra towns coming for them. That's just not a thing. CM does advance on the ship track, so actually CM can come for this now though, actually. So apparently it is back to just take this. We can go for a bridge town to C1. That's true. I don't need that hex. That's a good call. And now that CM did actually manually advance ship, they are backed up to 2 ships, so I have to go. Oh, CM is gonna probably is gonna cult dig this then, which is okay because I'll just triple dig this. I'm perfectly willing to let CM have this hex actually, and I just triple dig this guy. Yeah. Yep, I agree. I actually kind of want CM here. CM being my neighbor is fine, and then I just take these 2 hexes as my first actions, and then I can build a trading post. I can take this hex, this hex. Yeah. I still think losing water 1 though is pretty unfortunate. Nope, CM are going for this. So yeah, I'm just like, this is just never gonna work for CM, but I really don't want to have to take a bridge, I don't think. So I think I am first actioning this hex now. It means that I might have to 5 power priest to defend, which I don't love, but I mean, I guess I don't see how CM are taking this hex either, to be honest. I don't really get what CM's plans are, but the reason I don't get what their plans are, to be fair, is because they don't really have plans. That's the main issue, but four digs versus a bridge and a dig. I could just bridge. You guys just want me to bridge. Fine, maybe I'm supposed to bridge. I don't know. All right, he is coming over here, so I might have to 5 power priest this, but you think we should have just taken the priest and let them possibly come through here? Probably. I might be doing the wrong things. I will admit one of the problems here is that chaos is kind of flailing around, and I honestly, like, I'm pretending that I can predict them, and who knows? No, I mean, clearly I don't bridge anymore. Bridging made sense earlier. Now I have to, like, this is my town. Like, I'm not gonna mess. Like, I'm not letting CM have this hex. Although, how does CM, if I just even turn this yellow, right, or not yellow, if I just dig it to brown, what the hell does CM do? CM could have bridged. Yeah, I mean, look, CM could have done a lot. Yeah, CM is supposed to be bridging still too, right? Yeah. There's a lot of things that aren't really going how they should be, but I think I can just turn this brown. I mean, there's literally nothing that CM can do about it. And it allows me to just stall a little longer, which I kind of want to do because I still want to make sure I get a pass tile. Although, luckily, any of the 3 pass tiles are good. All right, they could have turned it yellow, but fair enough. You're right. They're not going to. He does just build a dwelling. He's going to build another dwelling. Like, his resources are not very good. He still needs this bridge. Oh, he can't even take the bridge. That's right. He never took Air 2 either. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Unfortunately, CM just wound up kind of flailing around. CM not being able to close out these cults either because he can't take a bridge is a bit sad. But these things happen. They're not going to, not learning from mistakes. Is there a case for towning up here? Deranged, how do you want me to town? Oh, just build the 2 trading posts? Yeah, I mean, I probably do just build the 2 trading posts this round. I don't see what else I'm doing. Well, I haven't counted my resources. So 1, I am no longer taking 3 for 2s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. would be my 7 workers this round. That seems pretty good. Yeah, I'd probably do town. Temple for fire 2. I actually don't think I'm ever taking... I don't think I'm building another temple, right? I think I can just build trading post, dwelling, and then this town is going to be stronghold and a dwelling. I'm going to try to build stronghold next round profitably. I think I'll have enough workers. I guess it'll be close-ish. No, it should be fine. I think that's totally going to work. Yeah, no fire 2 and stronghold next round is definitely better. Completely agreed on all that. Hello. Welcome, Iketera? Aiku? Not sure how to say that, but welcome. We're playing Terra Mystica, and we're playing high econ Darklings and hoping it works out, even though we got Earth 1 blocked and Water 1. Well, Earth 1 blocked a stretch, sorry. We gave up Earth 1, and then we got Water 1 blocked. Which, I believe, Block has built exactly 1 trading post since that Water 1 grab. Yeah, that looks about correct. To be fair, in his defense, he will build 1 more. Actually, he might not, because he might also just be going stronghold. I'm not sure. Admittedly, for all my complaining about his game, he does... Oh, he made his other town already, though. Also, did he take a coin town for reals? What is he doing with a coin town? I don't know what he thinks he's building, but sure. Although, I mean, Block is going to get network points this game just because CM's network is so meager, but... He's going to stick that coin town in my face, but yeah, how does he coin town when, like, just, how is it a coin town? He also looks like he has to pass first, which is pretty good because he's, I think, clearly... I do think he's in the lead. He's going to, like, get all the cult points just because Chaos... Well, Chaos can finally take a bridge at least, which means Chaos will close out 1 cult. I guess I could if I really believed. Maybe I'm supposed to find a way to win fire, but that seems like too much work. Oops. Hey, I'm trying to illegally build. Let's feed Chaos some more leech so he takes a bridge. Worker towns seem way better. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Block did things that are weird. He often does completely funky play, which looks wrong, but seems to work out. I mean, that's the thing. Block's pretty well rated. I think he's learned, like, a weird style that works pretty well for him. And he's just missing a path to become even better. But as I've tried to, like, loop around, like, the difference between mediocre players and experts are really in the margins. Like, it's relatively small decisions and moves that help separate you. So... Yep, exactly, Dranged. You just take the scoring favors, you focus on towns, and you get pretty good games, right? And then in this game, Block is like getting all the cults because engineers didn't play particularly culty on any cult. For some reason, the engineers don't look like they're going to win a cult, which I think seems pretty wrong to me. I'm not sure how engineers... well, I guess maybe there's no clear path for how they're supposed to do it, but that doesn't feel great. And then... yeah. But anyhow, Block's at 79. He has a 12-point stronghold that he definitely can build. Brings him up to 91. And then he's winning most of the cults. And he's going to pick up at least... Well, he should just get 6 network. But that's still like 40 post-game points. So a solid 130 to 140. I'm still doing fine. But I'm genuinely not sure I have that many points coming. Maybe. But... Well, yeah, maybe. Maybe I have enough. I mean, winning network is pretty good. Am I winning network? Or are engineers actually going to just outright beat me on network still, too? Engineers look like they're going to get down to 15. So I also should get down to 15. 2 temples left on my board is my goal. So we're going to tie on network is what's most likely. Continued to not be interested in 3 for 2s. I just take priest towns. Yeah, priest town can't be bad. Or is cult town somehow worth it for me? No, the cults are just a mess. I'm not going to score like any cult points this game really because of what everybody's up to. Two temples and a cult is nice. Is engineer supposed to do cult? How many temples should they build? Cultists are the best faction to run that style with. Yeah, you guys are right. That cultists and darklings are good for block style. Engineers aren't like necessarily supposed to do cult. It's just basically when you're in these games and engineers wound up building, I think engineers built another temple in round 3 for Water 1, right? So engineers have had 2 priest production for like quite a few rounds. And in order to translate like priests into points, you really kind of want to try to win a cult. And engineers are pretty close to like just winning the water cult. But yeah. Earth 2 on engineers is, yeah, the most important thing. I think that I'm supposed to use... Oh, wait, I'm supposed to build the dwelling. I don't really have a preference on the pass tile yet. I would like to block... If I could block engineers from getting a pass tile somehow, that's ideal. I can't possibly lose the shuffle, but other players can. But I definitely should score this dwelling. One slight issue of building this dwelling is that it means I need chaos to not mess with my hex. They really shouldn't. They don't have a good reason to, and I guess I can probably just get the bridge because nobody should block it, but it's a little scary. You think don't build this? So I think I still need points. But it's a dwelling round. That's why I'm building it, but I feel like I have to be greedy for points. I'm at 73 here, and block I calced at like about 130 to 140. Engineers are going to tie me on network and are also just ahead of me. Like, I think I need every dribble of points I can get to be at all competitive here. I think my best chance here is actually to go air. Engineers might take air 1. So I think this protects a point on air. I don't think engineers are going to come for me on fire. Well, engineers had to pass there. I was going to say, the fact that engineers aren't able to threaten stealing water first action with a sanctuary for water 1 still kind of annoys me. I feel like it was their job, but I'll go air track. And then, yeah, pass for the only option. Points. It's a 2-point dwelling. Isn't the TP tile kind of the worst one for me? I have to rebuild the trading post for network. I'm trying to get down to 15. Like, I need to rebuild the TP anyhow for network. Plus... because engineers are pretty likely, I think, to find a way to just double dig and get down 2 dwellings. I'd be pretty sure of it, actually, so. Also, I mean, again, the only person that can mess with this hex is chaos. So, like, the town, and people would have to, so I gotta get bridge blocked, and I have to have chaos take that hex. I think it was pretty safe to greed. I think it was pretty safe to greed the dwelling points, but we'll see. You thought the disruption had held NGs back more than it did? Nah, I mean, NGs are really strong. I mean, engineers are probably winning this game. He has 1 town coming in. He has Earth 1, Water 1. He has a ship advance. He's on the ship tile. he's gonna tie network with me. I mean, I don't know. Ultimately, the 3 good players at this table are doing pretty good things, and the rest is a mystery. Block takes coins that he doesn't need again. He can build the 12-point stronghold. He can advance. Well, he has to advance ship. Oh, he's just gonna advance ship a bunch for points. Maybe a dig. Engineers double digs down here. Is he's seriously trying for a town himself still? I'm actually really confused by that engineer dig. There's no way, right? I mean, engineers is gonna fire 2 at this point is what it looks like. I have no idea what engineers is planning down here. He's never building. I have priests, but he's never building this gray. Yeah, guys. So I get he can bridge, and how is he gonna get this hex and sanctuary? He's gonna hard dig, or he's gonna take a worker town and he's gonna hard dig. Okay. So he's gonna get 2 towns. Yeah, there's no way to stop it. I can't really stop like anything here. Do I need the workers? This is gonna be a 7 workers, 8, 9, 10. I have enough workers. So I guess I just take another priest as points. Oh, I do still need another ship advance too. I missed that. Then I probably don't take another priest. I probably just get the ship advance out of the way here. Once I ship advance, then I can do my stronghold action, but I want to be able to get 3 priests back. You would take bridge for faster town. I don't need ship. That's true. I could have skipped the ship advance by taking the bridge. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I was supposed to have done that. Free leech is sweet, but giving block more cult steps here just seems awful. I really want chaos to close out fire. Oh, chaos can't because they already closed out air. Maybe it's just pointless then. Although, nah, handing block cult steps I think is still just dumb. I think I want to force block to use his priests because it looks like block needs priests in order to do anything. Yeah, that ship advance wasn't very good. Lumen's right. I should have taken the bridge there because then I can connect off of only 2 ship in, which is just better. I just cost myself a point or so there, but will block even make another TP this game, or did he take? Yeah, did he take a 3-point water one instead of a 8-point air one? The answer is he took he cost himself points to block us. But you think the real winner in this stream is clear? Who's the real winner? Fire 2 engineers here, as expected. Yeah, McStebbs spent them right at the start of round 3, but you're right, I left them on. Munkasen goes for the worker town, which is what I thought, right? I said he's gonna bridge and he's gonna hard dig, and that's just enough stuff to eke it out. And then he still needs a ship advance, which 2 workers, 1, 2, 3, 4 is all of his stuff. So he has to take a ship town. Okay, guys, here's a crazy one. Am I taking a bridge here just so I could take a ship town now to block Munkhausen's connection? Actually, that doesn't help. What am I talking about? Who cares? He's already at 10. Nobody else is actually preventing that. Okay, so that's a silly thought. And I already advanced my ship. Is the bridge at all remotely good for me? Not really at this point, now that I already paid for the ship advance. So let's just go for the stronghold. Loki is another winner? He is. He does have moves left before the town, I know. I can't make my town very quickly, though, so he will... He can town faster than me. Alright. This one is from Ghostly. Yeah, hi. Hey, Ghostly. Yeah, Minkasen is gonna have to bridge here if he wants the town, and then he takes a ship town? I mean, I guess I just let him do that, right? What are you talking about? He has no dwellings left, Age. He's going to town. He's towning via a bridge. I can't stop it. He's going to win anyhow. But he's going to get a ship town here, and he's passing. Yeah, you are crazy. I think he's winning anyhow. There's not a lot I can do about it. Not a lot I can do about anything here. I mean, I think Block is actually beating me too, to be honest. But, you know, whatever. This trading post can go wherever. Giving Minkasen power seems wrong, so just giving our Chaos friend free power is fine. Do you block the town? I can't. Everybody, it's not possible to block. He has no dwellings. He's going to bridge. He's going to bridge with his priests and take a ship town. Or he's going to take a priest town. What am I talking about? Duh, he's taking a priest town. That's, yeah, duh. He has 4 coins left. Oh, it's so good. If I could, now taking the priest town actually would be good because it would force him to ship town. He can take the priest here though, which is what he's gonna do. Yeah, he's gonna get a priest town and then advance ship. Yeah. That'll be 114 pass, 123 has network, 138. Actually, he also doesn't have a lot of cults, but I don't think I can quite get to 140 either. So. Yeah, I could have bridged in order to do that, I agree. It turns out that maybe I haven't been doing enough math either. Look, whatever. I chose my route, and here we are. I think Block and I both could have just had more points this game if he let me have Water 1, but, you know, it's fine. I just take... Well, do I take the 11-pointer? Is it possible to... Nah, this is fine. Although, I'm getting congratulated, but I'm not winning, right? Like... I mean, Kassen thinks it's close. I have 8. I have 121. Network is 136. I mean, I guess it's close. But I could have made a dwelling last turn without a bridge. No, I couldn't. Yep, you're all dumb. The chat's been real dumb here in this last round. I'm not going to lie, guys. We were distracted by Loki. That's fair. He's very cute. And to be fair, it is also sometimes a little... although actually both of my boards and Engineer's board is visible, so... oh, hey, Chaos has network over Block. Oh, but Block can advance ship. Okay, and then Chaos will not have network over Block. All right, fair enough. I think I'm just advancing dig... Or not advancing dig. I'm just digging shenanigans here, right? I mean, I could send a priest to Earth, but there's no point to that. I could send all my priests to fire, but there's no point in that. Yeah, I don't think there's any point to anything. Make a bunch of hexes gray. Help out CM. All right, I'll help out CM with the rest of my digs. Block has to advance ship once, and then advances dig once, and then it has resource points. I still think block just wins, right? I mean, even without pass points. Maybe I'm overestimating. Oh wait, block still didn't win fire. Oh, that's actually awkward. Maybe block isn't winning. Maybe I'm giving him too much. Huh, I must be giving him too much credit. And then Mikazan is at 138, 140, 141. Huh, maybe I did win this. Wow. Maybe I did win still. Because I have 109 and 12, 121, 136, 138, 139, 141. Block advances shipping. So he can still trading post. So this is a little bit of an awkward spot. Because actually I kind of did want to send... I just determined actually I did want to send 2 priests to fire, I think. I go from 2 to 6, so it's still 4-point priests. But I would have got a resource point as well. So 2 priests to fire is actually my best move. Assuming block doesn't build fire 2. The problem is... he can fire 2 in response. If engineers are my only threat, priest to earth gets me 1 more point, them 1 less, and gives me a resource point back. So I think I should dig and then do the math again. It's possible priest to earth is correct. Oh, the priest power action just comes back. I see. Yeah. Priest to earth, priest power action will wheel. Also, yeah, I block went to 2 shipping, so I think blocking his hex was mandatory there. He does just fire 2, so that's fine. But yeah, so I priest this to earth. I think engineers are the only one I have to worry about. So taking away engineer points here is great, and then I can just get the priest back with power, and then I do just win. Poor CM with the 3-point water one. Yeah, I mean, look. It's a classic game here of everybody rushes water 1 and they just shouldn't because they don't need it. But all right, you guys said make more red hexes is cute, so. All right, team. I think Nerdcube was correct too. Apparently, I didn't need water 1. Although to be fair, water 1 I do think is just better. Although maybe it's not. Right? This was I was able to take Air 1 a little later, so I did have slightly better economy leading up to it, and then it was a 7-point Air 1 instead of a 12-point Water 1, so I lose 5 points, but I have whatever, it's close. The Water 1 comes with an extra priest around earlier. The cult math maybe changes, I don't know. Anyhow, good game, everyone. All right, we sneak a win. This is going to put us into the Elite League. This feels good. This is actually really the sort of game I wanted to have here. A nice win. Makes me feel better after last night's debacle where I lose freaking 22 ELO for that nonsense on top of it all to really rub it in. But I'm curious where I'm at the Elite League. I've had a pretty good arena season. I have like 5 or 6 wins and a couple of close seconds to pretty good players that are high up on the board. So see how that fares. But yeah, Water 1 was better by not a lot, which is what NerdCube expected. Yeah. Speaking of last night's debacle, I'm about to get there. Good Guru. Yes, good. NerdCube definitely helped provide. All of you provided some nice insight. Double Econ Darklings is good fun. Yeah. I mean, I just like to be. Remember when I said at the start of the stream I was going to try to be like the 20-minute faction? That really did not work. But I collected 4 priest power actions. This goes against my entire like Darkling's fiber of being, by the way. This is crazy. This is not what I normally do. But 2 coins actions, very important. I collected just the most coins in the game, collected the most workers in the game, collected the most priests in the game. And that's just part of how you win. You have the most economy. I hit the scoring track well. I didn't get much for favor tiles, but it was oh, I did do a round 4 air 1. Huh, so an 11-point air 1. Yeah, never mind, actually. Water 1 versus air 1 did not matter to me in the slightest. Well, I guess if I get Water 1, I have the chance to get air 1, so I have another path to victory points. But yeah. Hit the pass tile is just okay, but that's enough. Got some big towns, 1 network. Lots of digging this game. 32 priest points is pretty big for Darklings. That's part of the stronghold factor there, but yeah. Okay, how does double econ work? So basically, most Darklings players are going to open the game by taking Earth 1. Earth 1 is a generic good way to score. I passed on it. I took Earth 2, and then I built an early Sanctuary. A lot of times people there might take Water 1 or other stuff. I took another economy favor, Fire 1. So I'm just building up lots of resources, and I'm making the assertion that I can turn those resources into points regardless. Whereas other players tend to take the stance they're going to take the scoring favors and try to score off those and still have a very good game. To be fair, it's possible just taking Earth 1 is better for me this game. But I enjoy playing big econ stuff, so this is what I do. 35 minutes, sheesh. Yeah, it was bad. This is what happens when I stream. It's a problem. Air 2 Darklings is interesting. Air 2 Darklings is viable, I think, if you get that early cult worker in some setups. But yeah. Usually Fire 1 and Earth 2 is good, though, for Darklings, yeah. And then usually the plan is to transition into a pretty early Temple for even more priest production. But as with this game, I just used those resources to explode in different fashions, and it's all pretty viable, so. Blame NerdCube for the mid-game pivot. Yeah, I did have to think a lot about some of what I was going to do instead of other things, and it might have failed. All right, so F2O rant. The game last night. Sorry, I'm gonna wait for this guy, but all right. He's just happy. Okay, we're gonna go to the game last night. I'm gonna relive this nightmare. It's gonna be cathartic. I'm gonna preface this by saying I kind of want to say all this stuff, but some of it is not gonna probably come off as politically correct, etc. Well, whatever. Basically, there's a culture in gaming and stuff, and it's going to seem like I'm a sore loser here, and I partly am, to be fair. I partly am just a salty loser here. But I think a lot of times after games, we congratulate the winners and assume they played well. Normally, if you win, it means you did a lot of good things. My opinion is this game is not one of them. Well, that's not fair. Chickens did a lot of good things. I think there's a couple of mistakes he made, and I think he got very greedy. I think Clay made several mistakes, and if this was a single game finals, I think Claybo should be incredibly sad that he loses to Chickens here. I'm going to offer some quick insights as we step through this one. on some of the critical moments that honestly have me incredulous, or just surprised. As for the bidding, I honestly think the bidding is fine. I think Chicken's going to engineers first is a bold. I think it might be a little, you don't play on this map much. I think he's assuming there's going to be leech down here. But I think at a high level play, and just the way this track is and what cultists, I think you can assume cultists are going double temple in the center. But maybe the engineers bids are fine. The rest I think's okay. I probably should bid Darklings more here. Darklings are just resilient. But I think witches were actually fine here, assuming that other people had to worry about their own games more than blocking me, which turned out apparently not true. But paraphrasing, winning does not mean one played the best. Correct. That's it. Lumen's going to help me there. Just if we all accept that, that's fine. But I'm going to complain about it because I think I played the best and then took fourth. And that's what really has me salty as hell. But we'll see. Cultist going south seems fine here. You kind of like that. So it's fine. There's nothing wrong with Cultist going south this game. And to be fair, the way he played it, he maybe should have gone south. I think Cultist has a much easier quick town game plan if they just cozy up next to engineers here. But I think double center is fine. And so to be fair, yeah, maybe engineers should have been bid. It's one of those games that's really volatile based on some early stuff. This start, there's nothing wrong though. Nobody does anything unusual here. So we'll try to step through that fast. Yeah, the problem with South is that it tends to mean that your network's not as good. But Babak also, in my opinion, didn't wind up playing network all that great. So some of the critical points here, obviously I pass on Earth 1. Air 2 is way too good. Getting past Temp Ship and just going Air 2 seems fine. There is an argument for just going Stronghold and scooping up the key hexes and then hoping it works out after that. But I don't actually like that as much here. And especially with engineers here, you kind of need to double dig this early. And my theory is that just going Air 2 should let me probably just double dig next round and have a pretty good basis on these center hexes. And my theory was either I was going to go Stronghold in round 3 or I was going to ship my way out of it. My opinion, the only unusual thing for engineers, I think engineers are supposed to just double dig this in round 1. I think going for this and trying to cut me off is incredibly greedy and short-sighted. This town for engineers is fine. You're going to get there. Now, as engineers, my assertion is you can also just ship and reliably get over to these guys later. Now, that's not a third town, but it guarantees your network. You have a chance to contest network this game if you play like this. If you choose not to worry about this hex, Darklings with Temp Ship are a big threat to get over here and cause you problems. Also, I don't think you can discount Cultist getting to 2 ship and choosing to double dig this and getting these hexes through here. So I think risking this is very greedy game plan to worry about cutting witches when you just really don't need it. You can use them as neighbors. You can play this friendly, and you can be a lot safer about your connection. So I think it's wrong, but you think engineers should just start G3 instead of H5? Yes, I think that's fine too. You think F5 isn't key. All right, I'll turn the stupid things on again so we can talk through it. F5. You don't think F5 is key? Because you think they can just double ship. You think they can just ship and then get through here, and you're happy if Darklings cut you off, is your opinion. And you like to try to make a town through here? He never takes F5. Okay. The problem too is G. So this is the follow-up. It's a dig round, and if Darklings are on F4, F5, you need to make sure you have access to G7 early. Whatever. Whatever. So this is, I guess, is the point of debate, and that's fine. To be fair, this isn't even my main point about Chicken's game, though. But I do think Chickens is way too risky about his whole connection and game plan. If you're going to rush Earth 1 engineers in this sort of game, I think the only way you're going to win with Earth 1 engineers is that you're assuming you're going to want to expand a decent amount. So anyhow, the rest of this round is fine. Everything's pretty expected. Nothing's crazy. Everything's fine. Clay is very smart in taking Fire 1 over Earth 1. There's obviously no reason to take Earth 1. The passes are all fine here. Nothing's unusual. One decision I had here is if I'm supposed to just turn this gray. My bet was that Babik wasn't going to double dig, and if I'm correct, Babik doesn't have resources, or does Babik have resources to start around a double dig? I can't remember. He's about to have 4 power. Maybe he could double. Oh yeah, he definitely can double dig, can he? I probably should turn this gray. So I think that is a mild mistake on my end for what it's worth, just to really discourage Babik from thinking about double digging. Because yeah, he could double dig here if he wants. I think this is bad. I think trying to rush a sanctuary town by double digging is bad, but I should just really discourage him from it by going green there, and then I always get double dig. But I get double dig anyhow. I think this is a good line. I build this. As long as I build this, I have resources to go sanctuary, trading post, trading post. Another option for me is to go sanctuary, trading post, stronghold by getting a worker's power action. So I'm flexible here currently on how I want to expand. But all of this is pretty standard. Babik, engineers, everybody I think in this round still does things. So you think Chicken's risk G7 too hard? I mean, he obviously did, but we'll talk about this. It doesn't mean he should have double dug F5 necessarily in round 1. I agree with that, so we'll continue going forward. You guys like digging in the center first. To be fair, I think I agree with you. Digging in the center here is fine. I think it's all right. I think I'd take personally, I would have taken F5. I would have set up for this town. The other advantage to double digging F5 is you're going to get G7 sooner, and you have the option to bridge. So your town that you're trying to push toward in round 3, I think is even safer with this plan. The other advantage to F5 is that now Chicken's second temple is already in the town. So he has tempo on towns. He could even win a race to 2 key if he wants. Like, I think there's a lot of advantages to racing this town for Chickens and then making this town later would be my main argument. But anyhow, my pass here is pretty obvious. The ship tile just has great resources, and my game plan obviously is forming here. I can do the sanctuary, double water 1, and my theory is that if I triple ship, I still kind of think I'm going to get this hex, because my opinion is that engineers really are going to have to secure other hexes. And my theory is even if engineers do this, I should be able to double dig this in round 4 and get over here, and life will still be pretty damn good. The track will line up pretty nicely. So I'm not too concerned. And so I think the game plan here is pretty good for me. And getting another coins actually is great. Chickens does what he's supposed to. Darklings does exactly what I thought. He passes for temp ship. It's great for Clay. This is immediately now where the real pressure comes into the game. There's a lot of stuff I disagree with about round 3. If you don't get to F2 because of witches, your game falls apart. So I agree that there's some gamble for engineers that I don't know. Personally, I guess the thing is I play friendly. I don't assume people are going to go out of their way to block, because it's not how you win. But anyhow, Clay takes workers at the start of this round. So in my opinion, the only reason Claybo is taking these workers is because he has plans to use them. And so if I'm engineers, I just watched Claybo take workers, have the resources to plop down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dwellings this round. And those dwellings are going right in my path, and then Claybo's going to triple dig this. Or even Clay just takes this. We all talked about that. But Claybo's going to be on F4 with temp shipping and threatening G7. I have to respond to that, right? There's no possible way as engineers that I cannot respond to that and lose network. Like, it's insanity, right? But apparently it's not, because you can just take F3 anyhow, G5, and ignore all of it. Apparently. So in my opinion, this is insane. Like, if Claybo takes stuff through here, like, there's too much pressure on G7. It's your connection hex. And Claybo forming a town through this is great. Claybo being able to beat Cultist to I8 is pretty great, because now Cultist can't get to I8 or I9. Claybo has great network, another great town. He hurts 2 of his competitors at this point. And it helps his own economy. it's a slam dunk, and it's the only great reason, I think, for taking workers here. Why do you take a workers action as Claybo otherwise? So, anyhow, that's where I'm incredulous about how this is going to play out. I can't believe engineers dug where they did. I think it's crazy. Cultists built a sanctuary for Water 1. I think it's crazy. I don't think there's a deal between engineers and Darkling's hexes E2 and F5. I think I don't think there's any deal here. Darklings care about E2 for a town, sure, but I don't. Maybe you're right. Maybe, but the thing is, chickens doesn't even have shipping. Like, Darkling's next round could just turn this to yellow, and what's Chickens gonna do about that? Like, Chickens is gonna end this round with no shipping is one of his other problems, in my opinion. But we're gonna watch that. That's another just thing that baffles me here. But Cultist going Water 1 with a Sanctuary. I think Babik throws as a game away right at this moment. Babik not getting early shipping is a real problem. He has Cult Spades coming in that are going nowhere. He has to use these priests to build a trading post rather than... He could have just hard dug. He could have single spaded. Had some resources left. He could have shipped. He could have even double shipped. And I think built this dwelling, possibly. I'm not sure. I have to look at the replay here in a sec. But Babik doing insane things here, too. Babik could lose the race to E6 here. Yes, Babik also... That's true. Claybo could have just chosen to dig all of these. Now, it is losing... It's pretty questionable, but yes. Babik agrees Sanctuary was a waste. Okay, yep, we agree. But yeah, anyhow, this is not great. And then the other problem for Babik here is he chooses to advance ship, but he doesn't get this priest action because does Clay take it already, or what does Babik do? I don't remember. But Clay is doing his stuff. I'm doing my stuff. Engineers are doing their thing, getting their town. Engineers getting the cult town is nice because he doesn't have to send a priest to Earth. So I mean, I grant that that's convenient. Babik closes out Earth. There was a race to close out Earth, so there is that. I agree that Darkling's just cutting through this is also a pretty normal expansion path. And I absolutely, like, Babik is risking a decent bit here too by just not shipping early and focusing on this early town and this cult race. I mean, his cult position is incredible now, right, Babik? But if you just lose the 2-key town this game, engineers, like, maybe you lose 2 cults, so I guess you lose, I don't know, you lose resources. It's not great, but not expanding here as cultist and ending round 3 with kind of a meager economy and stuff has so many other issues too. Anyhow, my round continues pretty normally. Claybo takes another priest. I think it makes enough sense. But anyhow, it really hurts Babik because Babik had to close out the Earth cult, but now he wants to advance ship and there's no priest, and so he has to do a really painful 5-power priest. I think it's probably... I'm not even sure it's correct. It's so painful to 5-power priest when you're at 2 priest production already. And when you have 2 hexes, you can just turn to brown, right? Like, just turn these to brown. Instead, he's angling for a 5-dig town, which is what he does, but it's so mediocre. But whatever, it's going to wind up hurting me a little because this is one of my town theories. But so I don't like what Babik does, and I think it hurts me though because Babik decides to take D10, which is not a hex I would normally associate with cultist at all, and I don't think it's good. Another fun point here: engineers could have advanced ship to protect at least their cult digs could have gone somewhere. It definitely puts more of a pressure on Claybo, I think, to leave him alone because then he will cult dig like E2, D8, or well, he's not going to get D9, but I don't know if he knows that. But he passes for a trading post tile, by the way, which is also the thing I wanted to talk about. I don't think this makes a lot of sense. Anyhow, sorry, I should actually catch up on chat. What you don't understand is why Darklings don't take F5. Correct. Darklane should take F5. It's just baffling. It's so baffling. Anyhow, engineers pass for the trading post bonus. They could have passed for a spade. It's a spade round. Engineers are going to wind up taking the single dig power action. He doesn't open the coins power action because presumably he doesn't. Well, he actually, I think, feels he has to rush some hexes. But I am actually really surprised that he left the spade. I think Babik gets a huge break by the spade being left here for him. I think engineers definitely should have taken the spade over this trading post tile. He does. It is 3 coins and a worker. This is 3 coins as well. So he gets a worker, and he is going to get 4 points. But the spade is 2 points itself. So I don't know. I mean, it turns out that it works out pretty well for him, but I'm dubious about this. And it's another like slightly small thing I was sad about, because one of my theories was that I was going to be the only person that had significant trading posts early, and I was going to maybe get that tile, but it was probably hoping too much on that front. But I don't really like the pass here from engineers. Anyhow, I continue doing my shipping stuff. Clay not building F4 here is baffling to me. He took a workers action. It just expands his economy. He's in a network fight. F4 gives him options to at least threaten to like dig G7 and go for towns. Just taking F5 means engineers literally can't use their cult spades in any productive way. Engineers would have to like just double dig G2, which is okay for them. It's probably what they do. But Clay choosing to do none of that's pretty surprising. I do get that he gets 6 coins instead of 4 coins in a cult step. So there is that. But I don't know. It seems really questionable. But regardless, he doesn't do it. I use a 3 worker conversion here. I just want to be on this hex. I think it gives me some options. My plan is to double dig this. And assume that I can get here. I'm already very concerned now, though. The fact that Claybo's not going here means that he very well might double dig me. And I kind of have to pray he doesn't. I mean, at this point, to me, I'm watching this game now, and I'm like, engineers are getting everything they want. Nobody's stopping them. We should be worried about engineers' game. And so if we're worried about engineers' game, inviting me over here so that I mess with engineers' future town / hexes seems great. If I'm Clay, I at the very least just let witches onto D3, D2, and then I'll double dig C1 if that's what it comes to. But it turns out Claybo has town plans in here that I think are not as good as his other options, but whatever. Engineers, another fun thing for this round. Engineers choose not to take coins because they don't have spade in their hand, and they're probably paranoid about me, but there's no way I'm messing with their hexes here. I think if engineers is on the spade, he gets to open the coins, and he gets the last copy of Water 1, because Claybo has other things to do. I think it's actually pretty crazy that Claybo got left Water 1, and I think Claybo should have been punished even more for not slowing down engineers. I think if Chickens is on the spade, opens this round with coins, and then just builds these hexes, I'm not disrupting him. Claybo can't reach him. Cultist can't reach him. He gets to just make another temple for Water 1 this round and secure his connection. I think that's just worse than what he did. But, all right, you guys are talking a lot, blah, blah, blah. Spade and 2 coins in a spade round is such a broken bonus for NG. How did he not take it? I don't know. This pass, no advanced ship, pass onto TP looks pretty bad from Chickens. Yep, I think it is. But that's what I mean. Chickens gets away with all this. But what is Clay doing here where he doesn't build more dwellings? You think Clay passing is the most egregious play so far? Correct. Clay passing on building the dwelling on F4 is the most baffling thing. You would have secured Water 1 as engineers. Yep, that's fair too. But yeah, the fact that engineers isn't going to secure Water 1 this round because he takes the trading post tile instead of the spade tile and winds up passing on a coins action because he has to do all this is, I don't think it's great from Clay. I think Babik, as I've argued, Babik focusing his effort on this and passing a coins action himself here is baffling. There's no way I'm messing with this hex. how is Babic passing a coins action here? Like, I don't understand. Babic needs to ship again, and Babic has the spade in hand. I think Babic should be rushing this hex, in my opinion. Like, this hex gets him so many places and pressures Darklings beautifully. If Babic is at all pressuring those hexes, I think Clabo can't afford to D2. And yet, you know, I'm proven wrong on all of that. You feel so bad for me? This was kind of unfair play for me. I don't know who you are. Oh, you are Babic. Okay. But yeah, so anyhow, Babic winding up on a path that he's taking D10 is pretty brutal. The fact that Babic isn't advancing and pushing ship means that Clay feels he can punish me. Even though, again, Chickens at this point, in my opinion, has secured his connection. He's clearly having a very good game. Nobody's disrupting him. And Chickens can still take the last copy of Water 1 away from Clabo. And Clabo losing Water 1 is a pretty decent swing in this game. I think Clabo absolutely has to be worried about engineers here, not worried about me. And Clabo double digs my hex. Babic did wheel the coins, by the way. If Babic chooses to advance ship now and take D4, Clay has only one priest left to defend E1, A2. Both of these are his town spots. He can't protect both. And so this double dig is baffling to me. I don't, like, all the players in this game, I feel like, had it so out for me. And it's absurd to me. Like, they're playing so anti-witches. And yeah, I take fourth because everybody hits me hard. I wind up passing here. I really don't know what else I'm supposed to do. I can't score points this game. I have to secure pass tile points and coin actions. So, I mean, once I'm cut off here, I literally can't play network. The only way to win at this point is I have to transition to Water 1, Air 1, make one more town. I can't, there's no third town. I pay attention to the board. Like, I can't make another town. My game plan at this point has to hope that the rest of them don't score enough points and that I can go Water 1, Air 1, go full dig advance, full hit the pass tiles. So that's what I do. Chickens just continues not caring about Water 1, which is fine. He admittedly is on the trading post tile and chose that path. Babic takes E7. I get that he's setting up a town, but set up this town. I mean, this town is 1, 2, 3 digs and a bridge. This is 3 digs, and you're fighting engineers to F7. And you don't really need a town if you're cultist here. I mean, I guess you want to close out cults. Towns are good, but you're also trying to win network and influence other opponents. Advance ship and take D4. It's so much better. But whatever. Anyhow, you think Draconin is a fan, blah, blah, blah. You started last season. It's all good, blah, blah, blah. For me, F4, F5 was obvious dig. You just watched this game. Since that was 2 points and no one seemed imminently passing, I could have dug H4. Wait, H4? You mean B4? So I could have hard dug B4. I agree with you that hard digging B4 would have been fine here because nobody else would have passed. So that is one thing. I probably should have just hard dug B4 in round 4. That actually solves my issue of trying to build it the next round, and it's 2 more workers. So let's loop to that. That's actually probably my biggest mistake. I should have just hard dug B4 in the spade round here. I have the resources. Nobody's going to pass. I'll admit I was just a bit frazzled when Clay did that. It was absolutely baffling to me. I couldn't believe it. To me, Babic is going to advance ship and take D4, and then Claybo's going to lose either A2 or E1, which means Claybo's not going to make his towns. And Claybo's kind of screwed for network then too, because if Claybo doesn't get E1, it's a triple ship down to more hexes. Like, it's so, this looks disastrously bad for Claybo to me. I thought Claybo was so gonna get punished for his digging and for what he chose to do, and he gets away with it. So yeah, it's just astounding to me. But the pass looked a little rage quit-esque. It is. Like, I analyzed it a little, but it's also a bit of rage quit. I mean, I just had Claybo choose not to do this. Engineers left their neck open, did not get hit. Nobody's respecting their game. They took away what I thought should be my hex. Babic is doing stuff that I just don't want him to do. He's not pressuring Darkleys at all. And he's messing around with what I thought would possibly be my third town or something. And then Clabo winds up making a double dig that I think he can't afford. And honestly, this is one reason I think I tend to play I tend to slow play my towns. I think people just saw me at 71 points and were like, oh, he's doing too good. We have to slow him down. But the crazy thing is, I don't have great points here. I don't have Earth 1. I've already built 2 of my trading posts. I already built 1 of my towns. Even if Clay lets me through here, it's not that easy for me to make 3 towns here. It's not that easy for me to complete my network, and I don't score that many points for doing it. I don't make that many points if I keep building stuff. Pass tiles are a really good source of points for me, and risking building too much stuff this round and not passing is risky. Like, I think people completely overestimate my position if they think I had to be blocked here. And again, on top of it, I also think it's just way too risky for Clabo to risk blocking, but whatever. The rest of this round, Clabo takes water 1 because Engineers still, just never took water 1. Engineers decided they wanted to ship and build 1 more dwelling. Why Engineers decide they want to ship and build this dwelling is kind of confusing to me. It's not the dwelling round. I don't understand why not just take water 1. Again, he's on the trading post tile is the easy answer, and so he's going to ship and build a trading post instead. But I think Clabo could also have lost water 1, and if Clabo loses water 1 and Cultist mess with him, and Clabo doesn't get a 3rd town, Clabo loses this game by like so much. And if he had just taken F4, I think he avoids some of these issues. Or if he just lets me through, I think he avoids some of these issues. But whatever. The Bucks game wasn't on yet, but I did say that. You feel like the level of F2O is kind of low all the games? Look, I'm not going to lie to you. The level in Fire 2 Open is really kind of drives me nuts. That's what I mean. Like, this tournament is supposed to showcase the best players playing the best stuff. And that game that I cast with Bizzle watching the second chance was really painful. There was a lot of mistakes from high-level players. And what's painful to me is that players like Zivok and Nerdcube, they still do play really immaculate lines. They play very cleanly. It's very hard to point out too many errors in their games. I'd like to think that there's very few errors here in this game for me. I will agree I should have hard dug this hex either this round or next. That's my main complaint, and it cost me a few points for sure. But I think it's very hard to suggest there was a heck of a lot else I could do at most of these turns. Anyhow, I might just be done now complaining because the rest of the game, there's not a hell of a lot to talk about. I think these were the critical junctures where people made moves that I am just absolutely floored by. Yeah, I think this is essentially it. Babic again, just double digging. I mean, he doesn't need coins. And he has to be worried Engineers are going to take that hex. But I don't think Engineers even want this hex. And focusing this hard on a town over expanding, if Clabo decides to just double dig D4 this round, which I don't know if he can afford to, and I guess Babic can triple ship. It's really tough here for Babic to have a winning line without network, I think. And so, yeah, I think Babic needs to play for network, but we were spoiled by the level of play in International Clash. I agree a bit with that. International Clash, it's so much easier to play hyper precise when you have that many people. I will admit, it was surprising how well people played. I think live play will always have more messiness, but I think a lot of the F2O games feature just a lot of plays that a lot of like really strong experts should not be making. I think when you watch Nerdcube play, I'd like to think when you watch me play, there are not as many moments as I think this game has from some of the other players, but maybe I'm too high on myself. But anyhow, Clabo seems like he is betting the farm here. Clabo is betting the farm, and he gets away with most of it, although he loses to Engineers. He carves everything this game for Engineers, in my opinion. He chooses not to punish Engineers at all in the round where he can step on their neck. he I guess he takes water 1 from them. That's something. But he leaves this third town possibility open for engineers. He doesn't double dig C1 because he can't afford to. And if he just let me through here, I totally am mucking up engineers' network. Claybo, because he didn't do more economy in round 3, it's going to come to bite him because he has to take coin towns and economy towns and ship towns. The part of the advantage of going for this F4 town stuff is he could have connected on 1 shipping. The other advantage, in my opinion, is that if he just builds his economy more, he almost certainly, I think, can make 15 network. But instead, he only reaches 14 network this game, and because engineers get disrupted absolutely 0, engineers wind up going to 15 network and 3 towns and winning. So, anyhow, during the surprise, blah, 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 you think Premier League has a higher level of play in general? Most of the blocks are low cost, high impact? Completely agreed. For whatever reason, in my opinion, in F2O, there's just too much blocking. People are like so worried about trying to like disrupt others' games. And that's not how you win. At least not usually. In my opinion, Chickens slightly disrupts my game, but it was mostly he's playing for himself. Chickens plays this whole game greedy for himself for the most part, and nobody disrupts him, and he wins. Like, that's how you win. He didn't have to go out of his way. Clay had to go out of his way this game in order to cut some people off and to let other people go free. And he just carves a path, in my opinion, for he just kind of paves the road for engineers to win. And I still maintain, like I say, if Babic just goes for the 2 shipping in round 4, I think Clay's screwed. Like, I don't know how Claybo responds, but I don't think Claybo can get his towns. But oh well. Anyhow, you're beating everyone to everything this stream. Oh yeah, you're saying a lot of everything else. We all know the Euro div is one of the strongest, but whatever. It's an interesting coincidence that the one player that didn't engage in aggro or wasn't blocked also won. Huh. Yeah, and I mean, look, so to be fair, winning on some level in these games definitely is a bit of, it's a bit of getting lucky and just having that happen. To be fair, me winning my first game this far in F2O, like this season, was just because Barnawal made a slight mistake at the end of the line. Like, Barnawal should win that game, and he made an error. I was able to take advantage of it, and I win. Games are always a little like that, and they're always a bit fluky, but this game to me really loops back to like NerdCube's rules. Like, build your own economy, play your own game, get a little greedy, but you can't get mega greedy. And if you're gonna block, you have to make sure that you can afford to and that it's hurting the player you actually need to. The final thing I will argue about why I feel I didn't have to get blocked. I wound up getting on the pass tiles I needed to. I had just enough resources here at the end in order to do all my dig advances, build Air 1, build another trading post, make my last town. I scored about as many points as I could have on this line, and I get close. The crazy thing to me is if I'm allowed to just expand more and contest network, I can't possibly dig advance. So that's minus 12. I almost certainly don't get the trading post tile because I have to have a much longer round 5. I'm going to lose one of the pass tiles, I think. So that's minus 20. Now, I get a few more resources on a pass tile. I get more resources from building my economy. And I hopefully get more than 0 on network. But I practically have to, like, win network, get a few more cult points, and I'm still only, like, 6 or 7 better than where I wind up. The only way that I like go on to crush this game is if I 3 town, but 3 towning requires this bridge town, and then it requires 3 more spades. That's a lot. It's a lot for me to achieve. It's not at all clear to me that I make a 3rd town. And even if I try to 3 town, one of the problems with going for this town, which I always knew was a problem, is that it's hard for me to make 2 more towns because I don't have enough trading posts unless I build another temple and another trading post, or unless I build a stronghold, none of which are particularly efficient. So I think people just way overestimated how much I needed to be blocked and way underestimated how much engineers needed to be blocked. I think Clay played way too risky. I think Clay did not play against who he needed to in order to win this game. I think Claybo probably is supposed to win this game if he just builds freaking F4 in round 3, and just like digs through here and cuts some people off. I think I'd maybe get second if he does that, to be fair, because I probably get second on network or just get first, and that's probably enough. But Claybo decided to let engineers get away with everything and cut me off, and that just feels like pure targeting, but it's allowed. But I honestly don't think I'm going to play this format anymore. I just can't accept the idea that Clay is allowed to get away with this and still advance. I don't think it's good, solid Terra Mystica play. I don't think either Chickens or Claybo played great Terra Mystica. I don't think they deserve to be F2O champions. That's my hot take. Like, I don't think you're allowed to play like this and get to be a champion. But maybe you do. And they're the ones advancing, not me. So kudos to them, but I don't put a lot of stock in it after watching this game, is my feelings. But that's why I say I'm saying things that I shouldn't say, and it's not politically correct, because I'm coming off as a sore loser, certainly at least partially. And again, I accept that as at least partially what's happening here. But anyhow, I'll stop blabbing about it. He could have let Witches onto D3 and then dug C1. Yes, correct. It turns out that actually, I think, would have been a line for Claybo, and that would have totally worked. But you think Claybo's play is the most baffling thing here? Yep, I agree. I think the fact that Claybo's advancing is kind of crazy. But Claybo always does some weird things, and enough of it works. But and then, yeah, Babic, I think, own mistake from Sanctuary is a problem. I think Babic not advancing ship and putting pressure on Claybo is just a mistake. I think when you're a faction that gets so many cult digs and so many coins, and you go Earth 1, failing to tie at 15 network when this last dwelling is like a this last dwelling, I think, just wins Babic the game. He went for a 5 dig town. He chose not to quickly dig over here. If he digs this in round 4, he gets either of these hexes for free. And one of his problems here at the end for building the final dwelling is he's very close, but he doesn't have a hex. I have an answer for that. Advance ship sooner and put pressure where it's needed. I mean, you might lose the town, I guess, is the problem. But network is better than town. But, oh well. So, lots of things I don't love. But anyhow. Blah, 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 blah. None of your comments are digs on chickens. I have some digs on chickens, but whatever. You don't buy that anybody deserves to be F2O champ at a certain result. That's fine. You kind of agree that I played the best game. Yeah, that's fair. You only dislike 3 of Chicken's plays, but the magnitude of those is large. Yeah. And look, whatever. F2O, everybody understands, is a little fluky, and it's fun to watch, and partly it's just a big crowd. And again, I'm just being salty. In 3 more days, I'll be better off. But it's hard when I rewatch this game to like pay attention to people's mistakes and feel like the tough part here is I feel like if I'm in any of the other 3 players' seats and I'm allowed to play their games the way I want to, I think I win. But the one seat I chose to play is Witches, and the table played pretty against me. I think they played in quite a few ways that hurt me. So, oh well. But blah blah blah. The community needs to accept TM's a very swingy game. Yep, I mean I agree with that too. League format and knockout formats are different. I agree with all that too. Not going to dispute that, but I do agree that bidding Darklings more was also just correct. Darklings are good here, very good, and I should bid Darklings a little. There's too many ways for things to go well for Darklings, whereas there are more ways that it could go wrong for the other factions. I'm supposed to bid Darklings probably like 5-ish points before jumping to Witches. I think Witches over Engineers is totally fine. But yeah, I agree about bidding Darklings a bit more. That's one of my other mistakes. My two, like, I should have bid Darklings a bit more, and then I should have probably just hard dug B4 in round 4. That's probably the right play. That would have saved me a good bit. It would have got me a little more leech. It gets me 2 more points. Gets me a few resources back. A few resources at the end of the game is very important to me. Chicken sent his priest to water, but if I had an extra priest in hand, he would never do that. He would send his priest to fire. So I would have protected myself 2 points here. I would have been able to send a priest to fire, knock a point off Darklings, get another point myself. So building that dwelling is something like a 5 or 6 point error in a game that's pretty close for second. If I get 6 more points and Claybo is going to lose 2 more cult points, he's at a 150, I'm at a 147. So, I mean, I could have got a bit closer too. But, oh well. Anyhow, Barnawall stopped you auto-qualifying with a move. He pretty much straight away apologized for his error. You're totally over it. Oh, yeah, I mean, the thing is, I'm going to be salty about this F2O game for who knows how long. But, anyhow, a lot of chatter. I will just end this with... I apologize if anything I just said was too harsh. Again, I know that I do know that I'm being a little salty and a little irrational about this game. But it was very cathartic for me to just go through this and be able to say all the errors that I think and have a few people at least agree with a lot of them so that I don't feel that I'm completely crazy about this game. It's helpful. So thanks for allowing it. Please don't be too harsh on me. I know that I probably shouldn't do these things, but I said it all anyhow, so whatever. It's out there for the internet forever. But, yeah. You learned a lot from the chatter. Well, hopefully it helped. Twitch therapy, gotta talk it out. Yes, thanks all. I do appreciate it. It was good, so. And hey, maybe I never did go back. Let's go find out where we are in the Elite League. That was my one other thing. How far up did I pop? Up to 8th? I don't feel too bad about that. How far? 16, 17? I was hoping a little higher than that, but I lost a game to Thunder Kitty, and I've lost a game to Nerdcube, so they were really close seconds. The game to Nerdcube was gross. He just got handed that by the 2 bad players, but again, that's whatever. That's how these things go. I'm also not over the game to Thunder Kitty. I lost that because I played bad, but whatever, that happened. You learned a lot too. Okay, well, glad. Hopefully it helped you all. Whatever. You don't blame me for complaining? That's fair. I mean, that was like one of the biggest games in my Terra Mystica career, right? Like, it's a big thing. I do want to win F2O. I feel I'm quite good at this format. And to feel like I essentially got targeted or was not allowed to have a chance to compete in this was pretty brutal. And to watch Claybo, like, risk his game just to block me felt absurd to me. I'm still pretty mad about him that it worked. The fact that Claybo keeps getting away with like big blocks in these games that are just not good for him in my opinion, but it builds to his legend it frustrates me. It frustrates me quite a bit, but oh well. Anyhow, you'll catch me tomorrow. Yeah, I have a half day tomorrow, so I'm probably gonna wind up streaming. I might do one of the mini blitz things. Otherwise, I might continue my arena antics, or I might do some Agricola, or I might be bored enough and I might just want to stream, and I might do all of it. We'll see. But anyhow, it's good. You gotta love a board game that makes this so emotional. I mean, that's fair too. I love playing Diplomacy still too, and sometimes Diplomacy makes me stark raving mad, so whatever. He can't keep getting away with it. That's how I feel, Deranged. That's how I feel. Claybo's legendary Fakir's game, it only works because frickin' Dwarves G. Warwick plays the wrong line at the end of the game, and Claybo should just lose. This game, I think if Babik just punishes Claybo, I think Claybo doesn't advance, and everybody's like, why the hell did you block witches? But instead, we live in this world where Claybo's legend grows. So I'll be salty about it for a long time, and try just not to say much more about it in the future, though. You were salty after watching that game because it reminded me of when I've been targeted. Yeah, it all happens, blah, blah, blah. Your Ultra Avalon Rage days are over. Oh, God, I do love an Avalon, too. That's great, so... Anyhow, yeah, this is a really long stream now, nearly 2.5 hours. EJ, thanks for watching. Hopefully the rant was what you wanted. Other people, the next F2O game Saturday, I'll probably be in the chat telling everybody how wrong they are and being mad that I don't have the chance to compete and show all these fools what good, solid play is like. But, yeah, we'll see. And maybe I won't be that mean about it. But otherwise, yeah, I'll probably stream some tomorrow. Probably keep streaming Arena here and there. And I'll see you all around. I'm not sure of anything else major or big. So, yeah, that'll be good for now. See y'all. Yeah, sorry, I just saw Lumen. I kind of agree. I've had enough of Bizzle's casting. I would really like him to schedule and get some other casters again. I like the rotation, and I don't necessarily care if people are spot on, but I don't actually think Bizzle's a particularly good analyst. I think a lot of his takes are wrong, and I would prefer for the community for him not to be saying some of them. But he does seem like he learned his Darklings lesson, at least. He seems to have learned that he cost himself real big and did some real dumb things in his Darkling game, so whatever. But yeah, anyhow. Lumen's already toxic. Yeah, that's fine, but I just joined him, so whatever. He'd be fine if he's doing one thing. He's bad at doing... Yeah, that's also part of it. I agree. He tells other casters, like, not to get distracted by chat and stuff, and he allows himself to get so distracted while casting, and then he too often, like, has lost... Yeah, whatever. I agree with you. I find Bizzle entertaining, but he needs production help, and at this point, he's casted a lot of games. He should schedule some people for this weekend, but we'll see. Truly, I'm heading off before I see anybody else say anything. This Midwestern goodbye has gone on an appropriately Midwestern amount of time, and I'm truly gone. See y'all later.